Hey everybody.
Hey guys, welcome back to IO Studios.
Okay, so welcome back to Lego Homemade, and today we're at Brick Comic Con. No, we're just at our open house. And so we built the history of the world, and we got Art with Ollie here, and IL Studios, and me.
YouTube.
Got prehistoric, middle, Islamic Golden Age, Renaissance, Age of Exploration, Colonial Era, Atomic Era, Information Era, and the future. All in one.
Okay, so we're not
Did you
filming
bring the
anymore.
hairpiece?
The time has come. Finally, making a video about the mocks. Hello everybody, welcome back to Lego Homemade. And today, I am doing a video that I promised a long time ago, back when I posted the custom Battle of Bunker Hill mock. It's just so the history of the world in Lego. And I did this with IL Studios and Ollie's Bricks, and we had a pretty fun time. So let's get into the video. It all started out with an idea. Me, IL Studios, and Art with Ollie, we built a couple of mocks. We built like the custom Battle of Bunker Hill and the Delaware River mock, which is basically a recolor of the Mustafar mock, which I posted earlier. And we did this because we're nice people. And we were also studying like the colonies and the American Revolution. So we thought it'd be pretty cool if we built some mocks relating to them. So after that, we were like, well, what if we made the evolution of man, or as we called it, the history of the world, in Lego? So we decided to make these little 16 by 24 mocks, and we made them small because we didn't want to build huge mocks of the history of the world that take a lot of time, because we only had like 3 weeks to do this, but I finished mine pretty early, so yeah. So we were each assigned 3 eras out of 9 eras, and I was assigned the Middle Ages, the Informational Era, and the Renaissance Era. And some of the other ones were the Islamic Golden Age, Revolutionary Era, the Atomic Era, and the Prehistoric Era. So we built these, and on our school's open house, we brought them in, set them up, and everybody loved them. We got a lot of attention, and it really motivated us to create some new mocks. I will be making a part 2 to this video on Art with Ollie's and IO Studios' mocks. And on Ollie's Bricks, you can check out his in-depth review of one of his mocks of the Revolutionary Era. Whoa. And that's probably his best mock and is one of my favorite mocks of all time. So cool. So stay tuned. Okay, so the mock in front of you is one that I built. It represents the Middle Ages, and you may know that it's like, notice that it's like split in half. You're like, oh my god, why'd you do that? Well, the Middle Ages stretched 1,000 years. It started at around 500 AD and ended at around 1500 AD. So first, I have a little Roman Colosseum here. I used some arch pieces and some window pieces in light tan to make a Colosseum-ish feel, since they have a bunch of arches. And this guy over here, he's meant to resemble like Attila the Hun or one of the Huns, because they were one of the kingdoms to attack Rome in the fall of Rome. Then also right here, the Roman commander from Series 10. Bought him off Bricklink. He's pretty cool. And then around here, we also have a little Roman emperor or something that didn't do so well. One of the techniques I really liked about this is the books. I used some 1x2 jumpers, and it looks like the books are like super like crooked. Okay, on to the next part. We have part of the castle of one of the castles in England. We have a little knight up here. I used some Ninjago parts, and under this what's a hard torso or hard head? We have Lando Calrissian's head from the torso from the sail barge. I use this because It has some really good metal printing, and it looks like maybe the chest plate of a knight. Let's go ahead and put that back on. Yeah, and I also just used Lex Luthor's head because I didn't really know what head to use, but his head looks really serious and means business. And right here we have basically like a King of England. I don't really know what exactly the King of England was back then. I think it was like King Henry the Fourth or something. But I just made a king-like person. I used Aquaman's torso from the Justice League sets, and I think it turned out pretty good. Okay, on to the next mock. The next mock is the Renaissance mock from the Renaissance era. And you may think, Lego Homemade, this just looks like some random dirty old house next to a river. Well, you'd be wrong, because if you turn this around, you'll see Leonardo da Vinci painting the Mona Lisa. For Leonardo da Vinci, I used you'll see Scarecrow's hair hat combo, and I also used some paint palette and paintbrush pieces, and the rest is Master Wu from the Lego Ninjago movie. And for Mona Lisa, it's pretty basic. I used just a normal smiley face, classic smiley face, because that's what it is. On the painting, she has a classic smiley face. And I used some ladder pieces right here, and I think the detailing turned out pretty good with them. Let's go ahead and turn it back around. Some other cool things about this mock is the canal. And in the Renaissance, it was like a time for art and science and innovation. So I depicted a little canal and fountain because there were like parks and some construction and a lot of public buildings. Like not public buildings, but like monuments. Cool things. So I used some transparent tiles, and underneath this are just some blue plates. And for the fencing, I just used some 1x1 cylinder pieces around, and I just used some 1x4s and 1x3s and some other brown plates for the railing. And also right here there'd be like a little bridge, but I didn't have enough space, so just imagine it continue on. And then over here we have a fountain. I have a little frog and some white fences, and I have a flower on top of the fountain. And this one turned out pretty cool too. And also inside, if you open this door, it's all flat, just one piece. I used a piece where it just has studs on the outside, except for one side, so it looks super flat inside, and I think that turned out pretty cool. On to the next one. Okay, so this is probably my favorite mock I've ever done, but this represents the informational era, and I made The Office Season 1 in a little production area. You may be asking, like, that has nothing to do with anything. Well, the informational era, it was a big time for movies, and it was also a big time for, like, computers. So I thought, well, what's better than to make them combined and do a film set with computers? So we have The Office, and you can see here's some cameraman. We have the director. He has a little camera. We have maybe like a producer or someone who's like guiding the whole thing. And then we have the microphone owned by this dude. And the microphone is one of my favorite parts. I think it turned out very well. And I used the idea from one of the mocks at one of the LEGO conventions. It was on Beyond the Brick, but it's called History of the World 2. And that was one of the inspirations, but ours is much better. Just kidding. Maybe. And I also used some tiles. I put a no step tile. That's a sticker. So it looks like sort of the back of the production, like don't step or else you'll be on camera. And this guy's just a little production worker. He got a little stuck. And I used just a Technic pin to get him on there. And I also used some, I don't even know what these pieces are called, but they have a sticker on it, and I put some lights on there, and they look very film setty. And if you turn the mock around, you can see Michael's desk, and this is one of the, if people watch The Office, you'll know. I use this little golden statue as a Dundee. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So yeah, I built this mock around the time I finished the first season of The Office. So I think this turned out pretty great, and it's probably my best and my favorite mock. The night before the open house, I constructed these. I stayed up till around 11 o'clock, being like, I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I'm like, oh, I need some stands. So basically, I just took some like Christmas stickers and taped them on these Lego bricks. I know it's not that professional, but it was rushed. And basically, I just put some hinges back here, some plates, and a minifigure to represent the era. Some of the examples that I did are the Middle Ages, Renaissance, Islamic Golden Age. So these, look a little weird, but they got the job done. Remember, check out IL Studios and Ollie's Bricks /ShareWithOllie to check out the other mocks in this project. There's 6 other mocks that I didn't make, and they are very cool. So you should go check them out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, of course, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to turn on the notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. And if you want me to make a collection video, then I'll make a collection video. So stay tuned and show you how serious this is.